Yeah, so it's a very sophisticated task regarding to, I think, natural like gas emission, those type of things, green environment related. So by using this tool, we're able to finish the task in 5 minutes.
Wow.
So what does really mean? So think about this. I mentioned this because this is really an enablement. So a lot of science data today in the world, so we have a lot of sensors, right? You emit all the data there, but the processing time is very, very long. Some data takes months, some data takes years to process. So, but the value of the data need to be showing tomorrow or even real time. We never had the opportunity to solve this type of problems because the amount of data, the intelligence to process data doesn't exist. So think about it. Now we can, if we bring the 1 year process times into 1 day, that means I open the door to do the real-time study on the natural. So this kind of enablement is more important than you get your productivity. Just opens a lot of more jobs, research capabilities over there. Many people is able to do this type of things without too much knowledge in data science over there. Okay. So this is kind of from different angle to answer your question.
So you're describing somebody who's really not very technical as far as like a traditional Python and libraries type of view. They're experts in the domain, but not necessarily on the programming side.
Right, exactly. Those guys are very good at the domain expert. They can evaluate the results very nicely. But it takes them a long time to figure out the coding part, to figure out what's the right way to do the things. So these savings are tremendously, especially when you apply it into the science discovery domain, because every time a sensor or every time experiments give you a little bit different result. Sure. There's no way you write a piece of software to handle that. Sure. That's why the beauty of AI is it can, based on the output, we figure out an algorithm to deal with it on the fly. That's really, really huge.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Back to your question, say, hey, I have a group of data scientists, so how should I use this tool? I think it's more like you can handle more tasks over there. So, regardless how many data scientists you have, you always have a bunch of tasks you are not able to address because of the bandwidth. So given this type of tools, you can delegate 5 tasks, for example. Like one guy can deal with 5 tasks at the same time. So the only thing you need to do is make sure the output, the process is reasonable. But the time you saved to manually create those files, programs to solve the problem will be saved. But that way your data scientist team should be able to answer your business questions 10x faster.
Interesting. So there's a time compression there that can generate more projects, more tasks, or rather more tasks that lead to more projects, more deliverables. But you can also enable more of your domain experts that are not technical, but still use the same tool, still get the same proposed plan from the tool, and still end up at some reasonable, scientifically defensible result.
That's right. That's another interesting area is sometimes this AI provided interesting algorithms you never thought about. Sure. Because as a data scientist, you not necessarily know all the kind of new innovation all the place, right?
Or you develop your favorites, right? You develop your favorites. Everybody used gradient boosting for a while, right? Yeah.
So you don't have time to deal with 5 or 10 other tries because okay, I believe this works. I tried it. It works great. That's
yeah. You don't do anything else. Yeah. Right.
Computer can do a lot more faster than different things. Occasionally, we saw it produces the algorithm. The data scientists never. Oh, so that could work as well. I don't even know that. So that kind of brings the more knowledge into the people's mind as well, so they can do the next job better.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very cool. Very cool. I like that approach. I'm really curious. What kind of we came back to the evaluations that you're looking at. You're a thumbs up, thumbs down type of approach. And I also went to your panel this morning where you stress the importance of having those evaluation metrics ahead of time. Are you able to speak a little bit about what those evaluation metrics look like during the development of this tool? Because for my audience of data scientists who know how difficult it can be to develop models and the different iterations and epochs and all that you go through, it could be a little bit scary to say, whoa, wait a minute, how did you come up with that result so quickly, right? So can you speak to a little bit about that?
So at a high level, we pick the real world problems. Say this is a real problem, not just like fake problems. Real world problems, we look into what's the optimal solution of this problem, and then we let the machine produce the answer. Then we compare to see how close the machine produced answer close to the real solutions. Sometimes we even give multiple possible solutions over there. Each one could have a different ranking over there, and trying to say, hey, from the AI produced result, which one is closer to, so we can get a better understanding what's going on there. So this evaluation is pretty sophisticated compared with just like one prompt, one answer type of question, right? Because it takes multiple turns to figure out what's going on. There's trajectory as the process as well. That makes this much more complicated over there. So we do not just one shot, we do multiple turns type of evaluations as well.
You do those multiple turns, multiple iterations to try to approximate that gold standard solution, even though there might be other ones along the way.
Trying to match towards the best solution over there.
Right. Kind of inch towards that and see how close you can get. Well, that sounds like it must have been a very time-intensive process.
So this is more like what we call the offline type of evaluation, but we also respect the customer say. So we give the product to people. When people use it, they have a way to say, hey, that doesn't work, or this works better. This is a good thing. We consider that's a signal saying, hey, your product, good or bad, good or bad. We're also trying to make sure customer is satisfied about the product.
Okay, great. So I know you made an earlier reference to the things you can change in the plan and in the code and things you can't. So obviously I imagine that there's going to be, you have a general roadmap in mind for the tool. Are you able to share where you see this tool going? Because I know you went into general release just last week, right? So are you able to share kind of what the bigger picture looks like down the road for a tool like this?
So we're listening all the feedbacks from our customers. Right. I think one of the interesting feedback is about more interactivity. So they wanted to be more involved to kind of, if you see one step doesn't going well, or you could have a better direction, they wanted to chime in and be able to redirect it to the right direction. This is one example. So we'll carefully listen to all the feedback from everybody, and then trying to make sense to everything over there.
Okay, and then you'll build the future roadmap based off that feedback.
Right.
Okay, so that again speaks to to your focus on this morning's panel about those measurable things that you're going to be looking at to improve and whatnot. Well, great. How's the show going for you overall? This is a new conference, right?
Actually, I think it's amazing, to be honest. So when I started engagement, it's a very early stage. So you don't have a clear picture how big it will be yet. It's kind of more than 1 year ago. I was thinking, okay, great, let me try to help to make this a success as much as possible. Now, today when I kind of come to the conference, it's really amazing. The size of the conference, the quality of the speakers, the logistics, everything's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a great conference.
Over a year in this, in helping bring this to fruition.